Hi, this is Chris Converse, and this is a training series that we've designed and developed in conjunction with Peachpit Press and Adobe Press to help designers learn how to go from design concepts into fully functioning websites. So the idea behind this particular video was for us to start with a Photoshop file, just a design comp, and be able to go step by step through the entire process for slicing graphics, creating cascading style sheets, creating HTML, creating a website project in Dreamweaver, and being able to produce an entire website. So we've made some class exercise files available for this as well, so you can download these files or get them off the DVD and be able to work with us. So let's take a quick tour through the website that we're going to build. We'll take the HTML file, index, and I'm going to drag this into a web browser. To start, we have this promotion on the homepage, which is going to play for a moment, so I'll let that play through.
His job was simple: keep her safe. But when a secret from her past leads to murder at the top, promises turn to threats, and truth disappears into shadow. From the writers of Valley of the Shadow, Double Identity.
So as I mentioned before, we're going to start with a Photoshop comp that's going to go through this entire outer design with our banner across the top, our rounded corners. On the right-hand side, we just listened to this promotion. This was actually an Illustrator file that we're going to take into Flash and animate it. We're going to add some sound and create a multi-track sound file. So if you have Sound Booth, you can take some initial files we have, clear them up, add some music, make a multi-track sound to bring into Flash. If you don't have Sound Booth or any other of the software that we are going through on this, every one of the files in the assets folder has a catch-up folder, which we'll take a look at, which will allow you to sort of get the final files from one stage and then continue on with building the website. Over on the left-hand side, we have some CSS-based navigation. If I click and drag, this is actually all live HTML text, but I still get the advantage of having some rounded corners and some graphical assets using some sprite-based CSS techniques that we'll be talking about. In the banner area, we have some different color linking type. So in the banner, the type is this cobalt blue, and it rolls over to white. In the center, we have just regular red links, and in the bottom, we have white links that roll over in a yellow state. Each one of the different pages has a different feature on it as well. On the cast page, for example, we make use of Adobe's Spry framework for Ajax, which allows us to create these interactive control widgets. So I can click on each one of these items in here, and this accordion will open and expand to show different content within the page. I can see rollover states as I click over these. The little plus sign highlights, we get a gradient in the background. I can also click one of these items and collapse the entire panel as well. We have a trailer web page. Let me pause this real quick. So this is a 1-minute trailer promoting this particular movie. In this case, we actually added this animated graphic and this little highlight in Photoshop. We did a few other video editing techniques in Photoshop, as well as spot healing an image, running levels, and again adding these motion graphics on here. We then brought this entire video into Flash and created our own Flash video player to be placed right in the web page. While this is playing, we can also go into full screen mode. We set a parameter inside Dreamweaver to allow Flash to go into full screen mode.
His job was simple:
I'll exit out of that.
keep her safe.
Get in.
And then lastly, we have a theaters page where we built a very simple little form. We have some radio buttons here. We'll show you how to set up radio buttons that will unselect other items in a family to allow you to create single selectable items. A text field to enter a zip code, a drop-down menu so you can ask people how they heard about your site, and then finally a submit button. So one of the things that we need to think about before we actually start to build something is, what is the site structure going to be and what are the sort of measurements? So in this particular class, we're going to be building a website that will fit very comfortably on an 800 by 600 screen. So the magic number for that size is about 760 pixels wide. So one of the things that we recommend is sort of sketching out your layout ideas on paper, doing some of the math, and figuring out how wide all of our content containers can be. What we're going to do once we figure that out is we're going to create cascading style sheet elements, and we're going to use divs. Divs are HTML tags that basically can group other tags together. And we're going to assign these divs some of the numbers that we came up with in our notebook. And then once we create our information structure, we're going to cut up our Photoshop and Fireworks files, get individual graphics, assemble them all in Dreamweaver, and then go into various applications like Sound Booth and Flash and Illustrator and create all of our multimedia to build this fully functional 4-page website. So I hope that sounds exciting to you. So with that, let's get started with the first section.